Hello, lovely friends, and welcome back to my cozy kitchen. Today we are making the most tender, creamy chicken drumsticks with savory vegetable rice. Let's start by gently warming our pan and pouring in a nice, very generous splash of rich olive oil today. Now we are carefully placing 2.2 pounds of beautiful chicken drumsticks right into the warm pan. Just listen to that gentle, comforting sizzle as the meat gracefully meets the hot oil. Cooking is a wonderfully peaceful way to deeply unwind. What is your absolute favorite comfort meal to enjoy after a tiring week? Let's lightly sprinkle a lovely, generous pinch of delicate pink Himalayan salt all over our gently sizzling chicken to perfectly enhance its rich, natural, and deeply savory flavor right from the very start. Next, we are freshly grinding some wonderfully aromatic black peppercorns directly over the tender meat. Now, we will simply cover our pan with a nice mesh splatter screen. This is a truly brilliant little trick to keep your cozy kitchen completely spotless while gently searing. Let's lift that screen. Carefully flip each piece of chicken and cover them back up to finish browning. We are letting these drumsticks fry gently over medium heat for about 15 minutes. The smell filling the kitchen is incredibly nostalgic, taking me straight back to quiet Sunday afternoons spent watching my grandmother effortlessly create culinary magic at the stove. It is those simple, timeless moments that really matter most to us. Now, let's gently take our beautifully roasted chicken drumsticks right out of the sizzling skillet and carefully set them aside on a nice little plate for just a moment. Just look at that wonderfully rich, deeply golden brown color they have perfectly developed today. That exterior holds amazing flavor. Let's add some lovely, rich butter right into the warm pan and gently swirl it around, letting it melt evenly into those amazing, savory pan drippings. This simple step creates a wonderfully rich base. While that butter gently melts, we are taking one fresh onion and finely chopping it up. The rhythmic sound of the knife tapping against the wooden board is always so incredibly soothing to me, like a gentle heartbeat in the quiet kitchen. Taking your time with prep work is such a beautiful form of mindfulness, allowing you to simply exist in the present moment and entirely let go of the day's heavy worries. Onions are wonderful because they provide that essential aromatic sweetness that truly builds the soul of any good, comforting sauce. Remember, there is absolutely no rush here. Just enjoy the peaceful process of turning simple, whole ingredients into something truly extraordinary for the beloved people you deeply care about. Sometimes, when the weather outside is a bit gloomy, windy, or uninviting, spending a quiet, cozy hour near a warm stove is exactly what the tired spirit needs to feel completely restored and beautifully grounded. A helpful little trick if onions tend to make you tear up is to chill them in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes before you start slicing. It really makes a massive difference and keeps the whole cooking experience very relaxing. Just look at how those neat pieces are coming together. This fine texture will melt down beautifully later on, giving our savory gravy a smooth, luxurious consistency without harsh bites. Now we are adding our freshly chopped onion directly into the warm skillet and giving it a really gentle stir to coat every single piece in that rich, savory butter. The moment the onion hits the warm pan, it releases the most intoxicating, comforting aroma that instantly makes any house feel like a proper, welcoming home. We want to let these sweat down very slowly so they become beautifully translucent and release all their wonderful natural sweetness. It is always so satisfying to watch them gradually soften and mingle perfectly with those deeply flavored, golden chicken drippings left behind at the bottom of the pan. This slow cooking technique is a wonderful secret. Next, we are taking a few fresh garlic cloves and grating them beautifully on a small, fine grater. I really love using a fine grater for garlic because it effortlessly turns it into a delicate paste that blends seamlessly into the sauce, preventing anyone from accidentally biting into a harsh chunk. The intense, completely savory scent of fresh garlic is happily waking up my senses right now. Garlic brings a profound, earthy depth to the dish that cannot be replaced by anything else. It is always best to prep your garlic just before you need it to fully preserve those bright aromatic oils. This little step ensures our gravy will be bursting with perfectly balanced flavor. We are gracefully adding that wonderfully fragrant garlic paste right into the pan with our gently softening onions, giving it all a nice, thorough stir. Be careful to only cook the delicate garlic for a brief moment until it becomes beautifully fragrant to naturally prevent it from turning bitter. Now we are taking half of a beautifully vibrant yellow bell pepper and finely chopping it up. The sunny, cheerful color of this fresh pepper adds a lovely pop of life directly to our cutting board. Slicing right through the crisp flesh produces a delightfully fresh crunch that contrasts wonderfully with all the softer ingredients. Yellow peppers are fantastic because they offer a mild, fruity sweetness without the slight bitterness of green ones. Appreciating the vivid colors of fresh produce is a pure, simple joy of cooking from scratch. This lovely pepper will peacefully cook down into our sauce, adding layers of garden fresh flavor that balances the deep, savory richness. We are gracefully adding our bright chopped bell pepper into the skillet and gently stirring everything together. Look at how those gorgeous yellow pieces beautifully mingle with the golden onions. It is almost like an edible mosaic coming to life. The sizzling sound softens slightly as the cool peppers hit the hot pan, and a delightfully fresh, sweet aroma immediately fills the air, blending perfectly with the rich garlic. Watching these humble vegetables slowly transform into a flavorful base is rewarding. These lovely, unhurried steps are exactly where the true magic of home cooking happens, patiently layering flavors to create a warm, comforting hug for your loved ones. Next, we are taking one beautifully ripe, vibrant red tomato, slicing it perfectly in half, and carefully making small, shallow, crosswise cuts right on the very top skin. This simple, delicate scoring technique is wonderfully effective. It will help the tough skin peel away completely effortlessly once the tomatoes are gently heated through in the warm skillet. Juicy tomatoes bring that lovely, bright acidity that every rich, savory sauce desperately needs to taste perfectly balanced. We are placing the tomatoes skin side up directly into the pan and covering it with a lid to lightly steam. Now, let's gently put a pot on the warm stove and pour in exactly 7 ounces of rice to start preparing our side dish. We are pouring clear water right over the rice to begin the boiling process for a delightfully fluffy texture. Let's graciously sprinkle in a little pink Himalayan salt, give the rice a good, thorough stir, and cover it up tightly with a lid. We will let this gently simmer for about 20 minutes. Getting the rice started now is a great way to manage your time efficiently, ensuring everything is perfectly warm and ready today. Back to our warm skillet. We are using some kitchen tongs to carefully peel the loosened skin right off our gently steamed tomatoes. See how easily it slips away? Removing the skin completely guarantees our sauce will have an incredibly smooth, velvety texture, without any unwanted chewy bits. It is a detail that matters. Now, we are using a soft spatula to gently mash the perfectly tender, skinless tomatoes right into the beautiful vegetable mixture, giving it all a wonderful blending stir. The tomatoes break down so easily, releasing their sweet, vibrant red juices into the savory onion and garlic base. This is the exact moment our simple sauté truly transforms into a rich, deeply flavorful rustic sauce. The gentle bubbling sound it makes is just so profoundly comforting and satisfying. Cooking like this gently reminds me to purposefully slow down and appreciate the beautiful process of creating something nourishing. Let's go ahead and sprinkle another generous pinch of delicate pink Himalayan salt to fully season our fresh tomato base. We are also freshly grinding in some more wonderfully aromatic black peppercorns, then giving everything a really nice, gentle stir to perfectly combine. The freshly cracked pepper adds a very subtle, beautiful, warming heat that pairs so gorgeously with the sweet, bright acidity of those wonderful mashed tomatoes. It is all about carefully and patiently building those warming layers. Now we are adding exactly 1 tablespoon of incredibly rich tomato paste, and beautifully stirring it right in. Tomato paste is almost like lovely concentrated sunshine. It remarkably deepens the color of our sauce to a gorgeous, vibrant brick red and adds an intensely sweet, umami-packed layer that fresh tomatoes alone cannot provide. It creates a robust, deep backbone. Next, we are lightly sprinkling in exactly 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour, making sure to stir it constantly and evenly. This is a very crucial step for properly thickening our delicious, savory gravy. Gently cooking the flour for just a minute removes any raw, powdery taste, leaving behind a subtle, toasted flavor. Have you ever tried making a beautifully rich roux from scratch before? Or do you always prefer much simpler broths? Let me know below. We are now pouring in 1 cup of savory chicken broth, stirring well to create our smooth sauce. The broth lifts all those incredible caramelized brown bits straight off the bottom of the pan, melting them right into the gravy. This step adds so much wonderful, rich depth and brings all of our beautifully sautéed ingredients into delicious, perfect harmony. Let's gently nestle our nicely browned chicken drumsticks back into this bubbling, beautiful sauce and cover the pan with a lid. We are going to let them slowly braise and tenderize for 30 minutes. The meat will soak up all those rich, complex flavors, becoming so incredibly soft that it will practically fall right off the bone. It is pure culinary magic. While our delicious chicken slowly simmers away, we are gently warming up another clean pan and generously drizzling in a nice touch of lovely olive oil to start preparing the vibrant, very tasty vegetables to perfectly accompany our fluffy white rice. Now we are taking 1 fresh, beautifully bright orange carrot and carefully dicing it into tiny, amazingly uniform little cubes. Carrots are absolutely wonderful for adding a very gentle, earthy sweetness and a satisfying, vibrant crunch to any lovely, hearty rice dish. Slicing fresh vegetables like this is such a profoundly soothing, repetitive task. It really allows your tired, busy mind to gently wander and completely relax after a long, chaotic day. I always find that taking the extra time to cut everything to roughly the very same size not only makes the final dish look incredibly professional and deliciously appetizing, but it also happily ensures that every single bite cooks perfectly evenly. This is a wonderful little secret I learned many years ago when I first started exploring the pure, simple joy of quiet home cooking. Just listen to the steady, comforting, rhythmic sound of the sharp knife against the wooden board. It is almost hypnotic, isn't it? These bright little orange jewels will bring so much lovely color and wonderful essential nutrients to our beautiful plate, making the meal feel incredibly wholesome, balanced, and truly complete. When preparing tough root vegetables, leaving the skin on adds extra fiber, but peeling them, just as we did here today, gives a slightly more refined, delicate texture to the final dish. Cooking is always about making these sweet, personal choices to wonderfully suit your family's very unique and special taste. We are playfully adding our beautifully diced carrots right into the gently warming pan and giving them a nice, gentle, thorough stir. The vibrant orange color looks so incredibly cheerful against the dark skillet. We want to let these cook down slowly for just a few minutes until they begin to soften and release their natural earthy sugars, creating a wonderfully sweet, flavorful foundation. Next, we are taking some wonderfully fresh, crisp celery and slicing it nicely. Celery is often an underrated vegetable, but it brings a wonderfully savory, slightly salty depth and an irreplaceable, refreshing crunch that elevates the whole side dish. As I slice through these pale green stalks, the crisp, watery sound is just so delightfully refreshing and vibrant. It is the perfect aromatic companion to our sweet, earthy carrots. These simple, humble ingredients are the absolute core of so many beloved comfort food recipes across the entire world, and for a very good reason. They create a reliable, deeply flavorful base that makes everything else taste much better. I really love how quiet home cooking connects us to these timeless, universal culinary traditions. We are proudly building a side dish that is just as thoughtful and flavorful as the main course itself. We are adding our freshly chopped celery directly into the wonderfully hot pan alongside the beautiful bright carrots, and carefully mixing them all together. These fresh, lovely vegetables will gently cook together for about 5 to 7 minutes. The incredible, savory aroma rising from the hot skillet right now is so immensely and deeply comforting. It is quite amazing how such simple, everyday ingredients can easily produce such complex, wonderful fragrances when they are slowly sautéed in a little warm olive oil. They are softening beautifully, getting perfectly ready to mingle with our fluffy rice. Now, we are adding our perfectly boiled, wonderfully fluffy rice right into the warm pan with those incredibly tender, aromatic vegetables, gently stirring everything to beautifully combine. Look at how wonderfully the rice grains separate. That is exactly the light, airy texture we are always aiming for. Tossing the warm rice with the gently sautéed vegetables allows each individual grain to become beautifully coated in that amazingly savory, fragrant oil. It transforms plain rice into a marvelous dish that is robust, deeply flavorful, and incredibly satisfying. This beautifully speckled, colorful vegetable rice would be an absolutely fantastic side dish to bring to a very cozy, intimate holiday gathering or a relaxed weekend family dinner. It is wonderfully elegant, pleasantly simple, and universally loved. Let's sprinkle a delicate pinch of pink Himalayan salt over the rice to perfectly bring out all those fresh, lovely flavors. Now, we are carefully and generously dusting everything with some lovely sweet paprika for a beautifully subtle, gorgeous, deeply smoky hint of color. Next, we are gently sprinkling a nice, generous amount of savory garlic powder to give our beautiful rice an incredible, mouth-watering, aromatic punch. Finally, we are freshly grinding some more bold black peppercorns directly over the top and thoughtfully giving our beautiful vegetable rice one last thorough stir to evenly distribute all those incredible, lovely, warming spices. Just look at the wonderfully vibrant specks of orange, pale green, and deep red paprika running completely through those amazingly perfect, fluffy grains. And just like that, our truly incredible side dish is completely ready and patiently waiting. Taking a little extra time to perfectly season and thoughtfully toast your rice makes an absolute world of difference in the final presentation and overall taste. It beautifully elevates a simple side into a marvelous, standalone masterpiece. The incredibly warm, toasty aroma gently filling the quiet air right now is pure culinary comfort. I absolutely cannot wait to properly plate this up and joyfully share it with you all. It is genuinely amazing how just a few humble pantry staples can easily create such a spectacular, deeply flavorful experience. Our truly gorgeous chicken has been gently simmering for 30 minutes. We are finally taking the lid off, and oh my, just look at that intensely rich, wonderfully bubbling sauce. Now we are pouring in exactly 1/4 cup of luxurious, silky heavy cream, stirring it gently into the beautiful gravy. Watch closely as the deep red color beautifully transforms into a very soft, unbelievably creamy, and completely irresistible velvet texture. It only needs about 1 or 2 short minutes to heat completely through, and this truly glorious, comforting culinary masterpiece is done. It is finally time to gently plate our gorgeous chicken. We are carefully placing a beautifully tender drumstick onto the plate and generously ladling that velvety, mouth-watering cream gravy right over the top of it. To finish this beautiful plate, we are taking a little bunch of fresh, vibrant green parsley and finely chopping it up. The bright, clean scent of freshly cut herbs is the absolute perfect way to wake up a rich, creamy dish like this one. Parsley adds a gorgeous, elegant pop of color that makes the whole meal look incredibly fresh and appetizing. It is like adding a lovely little sprinkle of spring right onto our cozy meal. I always recommend using fresh herbs whenever you possibly can. They provide a delicate, beautiful, and vibrant finishing touch that truly elevates your everyday cooking to an impressive, wonderful restaurant-quality level. Let's gently sprinkle that bright, lovely chopped parsley over our warm, saucy chicken. Now, we are carefully spooning a generous portion of our vibrant, aromatic vegetable rice onto the plate. Please just take a wonderful moment to admire this absolutely stunning, deeply comforting meal. The rich, creamy chicken, beautifully paired with that vibrant, colorful rice, looks completely irresistible from every single lovely angle. It is finally time for the very best part, the first delicious bite. The chicken is so incredibly tender, and that creamy sauce is pure heaven. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please do not forget to subscribe for more cozy recipes, and I will see you next time.